Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. I was tagged in the hashtag aspirational tarot created by Rowan here. And they are a newer channel, and I wanted to be sure to participate in their hashtag. So I am going to flip through this deck while I answer these 5 questions, and I'll be inserting some other images and also when we get to some later questions. But this is a really short hashtag, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be flipping through the Sonder Oracle. This is an indie created oracle by Mountain Moon Tarot. I found this oracle on Instagram, and the creator's name is Leslie. I think she only has a few left of these, but these are all photographs that she has taken and put the keyword on, and I really enjoy this. I've used it just a little bit. I haven't had it but a few weeks, but I'm really drawn to these photography decks right now. So I really wanted to get my hands on this, and it was very, very reasonably priced in the US. So check her website out, which is, I think, mountainmoontarot.com. Yes, it's mountainmoontarot.com, or look her up on Instagram, Mountain Moon Tarot. So we're going to flip through this. Okay, so question 1 to this tag is, what is your ideal number of decks? Well, first of all, I've been buying decks since 1999. So let's just put that into perspective. So it is 2024, and I bought the first deck, I think it was 1999, or maybe it was 1998. I don't know. It was one of those couple years right in the late 90s that I picked up my first deck. So I've been buying for a very long time. I used to think my ideal number of decks was 50. Then I surpassed that. So then I thought, well, anywhere under 100. And then I found TarotTube. And I don't really mean to blame TarotTube for this, but honest to God, I would not know half the decks out there if it wasn't for TarotTube. So now my collection is over 150. And I've got to slow down some now, which we'll get to in question 2. So I don't necessarily have an ideal number that I'm looking for. I want to have the decks that I want to have in my collection. I don't think there's a specific ideal number. It's just going to be depending on what is good for each individual person. So I don't care how many decks anybody has. You could have 4 decks. You could have 400 decks. It makes no difference to me. And I don't know what my ideal number is. As long as I have the decks that I need, that's how I'm gonna answer that one. Okay. So question number 2 is, what is your ideal storage situation for your reality that you live in? 98% of my decks fit in my pie safe. It's a very big pie safe. And I showed all those decks all in December of last year of what my entire collection is. I have probably another 20 some that sit on a 3-shelf bookshelf, which are my witchy decks, my beachy decks, horror decks, that kind of thing. And then a little, one of those fabric drawers that is also on that bookshelf is full of decks that I don't really use. If I got rid of my wedding china, this is the honest to God's truth. If I got rid of my wedding china that we've used in the how long have we been married? 28 years. We're going to be married in a week. 2 weeks. No, next week. 28 years. If I got rid of all that wedding china that we've used once in 28 years, I'd have a whole other hutch that I can store extra decks in. And let me tell you what, I have seriously considered that. Right now, while my kid is still living at home, even though he's going to college, there's his space. But once his space is my space again, things are going to change, and I will have more room for additional decks, which I just find that hysterical saying any of that. So, but yeah, for my current reality, my decks are all put away. It's not like I have stacks of decks anywhere in my house. So I couldn't tolerate that. I wouldn't be able to handle having decks everywhere. I like to keep them all in my reading space, which is in my dining room. So yeah, and maybe in a few years when situations change and I can move that china to a different space in this house, I'll have a whole nother hutch that I can fill up with decks. So that's the reality of that. Okay, question 3 is how do you want to use tarot versus how you're actually using tarot now? I use tarot now exactly how I want to use it. There's nothing that I want to do with tarot that I'm not doing. This is what I have to say. Don't be afraid to try something. If you're stopping yourself from using decks to talk to spirit, use your decks to talk to spirit. If you're, stopping yourself from using decks in spell working or whatever, use your decks in spell working. Try it out. If it doesn't work for you, hey, fine. At least you tried. Don't sit there and wonder if this happens, should do it. Just do it. So I use my decks for everything. I learned predictive readings right off the bat. That's how I came into tarot back in the early 2000s. So I've been doing predictive readings with my decks for a very, very, very long time. And I don't have any issue with it. I do introspective readings. I do journaling around my tarot cards. I've shown my journals on here before. I use tarot cards in my spell work. I use tarot cards to talk to spirit. I use tarot cards to connect to guides, deity, to connect to the deceased, to do mediumship readings. I use it for everything. Absolutely everything. And if something didn't work for me, I moved on from it. But I didn't ever stop myself from trying. It's a deck of cards. And it's about trusting your intuition and trusting, your knowledge and that. So try it out. And if it doesn't work the first time, try it again and again and again until you get it or it catches on or it feels right or whatever it is. I'm all for trying new things. So I can't say that there's not any way that I'm not using my cards. I am using them for absolutely everything. And I like that because I'm not locked into, just one way of doing things and one way of seeing things. I really try to keep an open mind, an open perspective on using cards in different way and learning from cards in a different way instead of locking myself into certain sets of meanings. So that's my answer for question 3. Okay, so what is on your tarot wish list that you want to have? I think that it was worded like, what decks do you want to have in your collection? So if I'm honest, I have an extensive wish list, like on Amazon or like on my Llewellyn account, anywhere that'll let me create a wish list. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to purchase all of those. I like to stick those mass market decks in my wish list so I can watch to see if they go on like a really good super sale or something, and then really pick up the ones that I'm being drawn to. A couple of the mass markets that I really think would fill a I guess, a particular hole maybe in my practice. The first one is tarot landscapes. I don't have any tarot, any decks that are just, well, I can't say that about Oracle because I have just tree oracles, but I don't have any tarot that are just landscapes. I like my tarot to have people in them. I like them to be very people-y. I like them to have a lot to the images because of the way I use my cards. So I think the tarot landscape deck would really push me outside of my comfort zone, past my boundaries, really make me look at those cards in a different way. Maybe meditate on those cards some. I don't know, something. So that is one of the mass market decks that I'm very, very intrigued by. The second one, which I've seen a lot of people using over the past year, is that French deck that translates to a Tarot of Strange Antlers, or antlers, branches, something along those lines. That deck is just, I don't know, there's just something that draws me to that deck every time I see somebody using that one. Another deck that that's mass market that I thought was really cute, but I've only seen a couple images of it. It's not released yet. It's coming out by US Games. It's called Woodland Fairy Tale Tarot. I actually don't have a fairy tale tarot that is geared around fairy tales. I never bought that one. I can't even remember what the name of it was. There was a couple years ago that everybody was buying. I don't have that one. So I don't really have a deck that is geared towards fairy tales. And I don't even know if this deck is geared towards fairy tales. I would really need to see a walkthrough and learn more about it first. So that is the mass markets that I would say would be like kind of my first purchases, I think, right now. But my indie decks, the indie decks that I am keeping fingers crossed, hearts hoping that I can have these in my collection one day, is the first is the Aphrodite Tarot, the second edition. Oh my God, I love that deck so much. I watch every walkthrough on it. I like to watch people use it on TarotTube. I have this whole Aphrodite practice that I'm doing right now. I think that deck would just be so fantastic to have for that reason, compared to what I am currently using. My thing is, I'm very slow at purchasing independent decks because I am trying to put a kid through college. So money is not, you know, a free flow thing that's happening right now. So I'm very cautious at how much money I am pumping out for different decks, since, you know, like I said, I'm putting a kid through college. So that's why I'm very slow at purchasing the independents, because they 55 is like your least amount, and then above, and then you add in that extra shipping in that, so they can get very pricey very quickly. The second independent deck that I would really like to have in my collection is the Pensive Path. I've watched several people use that deck on YouTube, and who was the last one? I think it was Julia on her channel. Highly Sensitive Tarot, I believe is the name. And it's just such a lovely deck, and I really, really think that deck would be fantastic to use in mediumship readings, and or to just connect to spirit in some way with the imagery and that is on there. So that is one that I would like to bring in. And is that my last independent tarot? Let me look at my list. Oh, no. And the last independent tarot that I'm really wanting to be a part of my collection is the Flow Tarot. And I am a beach girl. I don't live anywhere near the beach. We like to vacation down below Myrtle Beach in the Surfside area. And The ocean is my soul. I cannot even explain my connection to the ocean, the beach, and how I feel when we get to go there. And I have like my mermaid deck and a couple mermaid decks. And I was gifted the Sea Oracle by a lovely, lovely person. And I just feel like that Flow Tarot would be the fantastic tarot to add to that connection of water decks, especially with my connection to the ocean. I just think it would have a special place in my practice. So that is my last independent deck that I would like to have. Those are the top ones that if they went on sale, or you know, I had some extra money or whatever that month, I would grab one of those. Okay, so the last question is about the oracle decks, the oracles that you wish or you want to have in your collection. And as far as mass market oracles go, I'm really wanting the that Angie Solins one, I think it's called Wisdom of the Wild Things. I wasn't going to bring any more Angie Solins decks into my collection. I think I have 3 now, and I thought, okay, I'm good. But again, I watched a bunch of walkthroughs and people using them and talking about using them in their practice. And I think that one's just a little different enough that it would be a really good fit in my practice for me. So that is a mass market. As far as like other mass market ones go, I think there's another one coming out by Denise Linn called Time Traveler that I'm interested in, but I need to know more about it, the premise of it, and that sort of thing before I bring that in. But that one looks very interesting to me. Okay, so here are my indie oracle decks that I would like to have in my collection one day. And the first one is the Southern Gothic Botanical and the Poisons pack. I love my Southern Gothic Oracle and the Haunts pack that goes with it. Oh my gosh, she ran such a fantastic deal this past, I think it was around Black Friday. It might have been before that. And I picked those up then. And I truly, truly love that deck. I love the cardstock of that deck and everything about it. So I'm really wanting the Botanicals Oracle that she has also. Another one that I want is the Sylvan Kind Oracle. I saw that on Lisa's channel. That's the very first place I heard about that. And after seeing a walkthrough of it, and because I was afraid, I thought I didn't need it because I have 2 Soul Trees decks, and I thought, you know, well, what would I really need that for? But after I've seen people talk about the guidebook and using the cards, that one really, really intrigues me. I'm really into working with that tree energy, tree spirit thing. I mean, I'm really drawn to that right now, so I think that would be a good fit for my collection. And the other one, I don't have a picture for it. And this is just something that recently came on my radar, basically. This past month, I was working with like my chakra energy, some health related things, and doing some readings regarding that. And I'm really interested in that. I can't remember that. I think it's called the Energy Archaeology deck, where it's all the bones and that of the body. I'm pretty sure that that's what it's called. That one is very, very interesting to me because of the work that I was just doing this past month. I thought that would have been an excellent deck to have at this point in time. To do with that work that I was just doing. So that's one that I want to add in because I don't really have anything else in my collection that is like that. And let me look over my little notes here. I think that is all the deck. I have one more oracle that I want. This oracle I've been on the fence about for 6 months now. I've been going back and forth. Yes, you want it. No, you don't. Yes, you want it. No, you don't. And that's the Outlaw Oracle. I want that deck. I think this deck, the more I've seen people use it, talk about using it, the more walkthroughs I've watched of it, it would be a perfect fit for my collection. It's also the photographic decks, which I said I was like really drawn to right now at this point in time. So I really do think that that deck would fill a little niche for me, and I've made up my mind that is definitely one that needs to come into my collection. So thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks, Rowan, for creating this tag and tagging me in it. It was fun to do. If you want to check out Rowan's channel and her video, I am going to have that video linked below. If you feel like participating in this tag, please do so. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and until I see you next time, bye.